I wish people in my life would push on me more. Like when I think about all of the growth that I've had, there's never one time been a mentor in my life that's been like actively interested in telling me, hey, this is what's holding you back, and really giving me feedback. And I wish that I would have had that. Whenever I've asked for that, you know, people just, when you ask for it, they don't really want to give it to you. I never, growing through my career, had somebody that's like, hey, you need to stop doing this. Hey, don't do this. Like, and coaching me and course correcting me. And I actually take that as a responsibility that I have to the team members that I am responsible for, because we have to grow so quickly that I feel like it took me 8 years to learn these things. I'd rather just like use every opportunity to coach and correct and give feedback now, today, instead of like thinking that they have to wait 10 years in order to learn this skill set that I had to learn. And so, should we do the email? This is like totally behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I gave you permission to use
Okay,
the
so this is what's actually happening.
loud.
We're like talking about, okay, so can we get her laved? Okay, we'll be right back. So I sent an email to Carolina last week, and she was not super happy about me sending this particular email, as I found out, but I wasn't really thinking about how she felt when I sent the email. I was thinking about what feedback needed to be given. So I'm gonna grab my computer. Are you loud now?
Yeah. I was on PTO on vacation for the first time in a year when I received this email.
Yeah, this is all true. This is all true.
Got
However,
engaged a couple days later. It's fine.
However, this is all true. But this is the thing. This was my thought process sending this email. I didn't know she was going to get engaged. I did know that I didn't really think about PTO. I knew she was like away, but it was a weekend. I don't filter myself when I'm sending a communication to our team members. Like if I'm thinking about it and then I wait and I put off the communication, it's likely that I'm never actually gonna communicate it. And then when something really goes wrong, something's not going the way that I want it to, there's an issue, I hold myself accountable because I'm like, well shit, I never told Carolina about these things, like, and this was bothering me, and I just need to have the communication. Most of these communications I do via call or like an in-person meeting. Like I don't think I've ever sent you an email like this before, have I?
Negative.
Okay.
First time for everything.
Yeah, so did you save the email? I don't think I saved the email.
I
It's
do,
not
but
like
my
I just-
internet's not working.
I email something like this probably once a week. And I really do view this as like the pressure that I want to apply on people that I care about, because it took me, I don't know, 5 minutes to write this email. And I was really trying to think, like, if I was her, would I want to know what's holding me back, or what, like, I'm not even your boss, actually. That's the funny thing.
I have 2 bosses.
Your boss's boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess technically she reports to our head of revenue and marketing, who reports to me.
But I do your social.
But we
and you
talk
confirm. Yeah.
often. So anyway, this shoot did not go very well last week. She wasn't at this shoot. I think she was off during the shoot, and it was just a mess. And in the shoot with her other team members, I told them, I was like, hey, listen, this isn't going well. This is your responsibility. I'm going to talk to Carolina about this later, but you need to take responsibility for these things, because it's not just about Carolina, it's about the team understanding what Carolina should be expecting, and them like really knowing how to do this in the future. Because I'm not going to expect that she's going to be able to do everything all the time. She's already great. I think she's fantastic. I wouldn't waste my time sending this email if I didn't think she was fantastic. So there's that. She sends this really nice email about like YouTube shoot opportunities and like apologizing and like going through this whole thing. And I did acknowledge it, so I think this is important. When you're writing emails like this to your team, I think it's important to acknowledge what has been said. This is my acknowledgement. Thank you for this email. Because I like that she sent the email. It was like, I could have, like she could have waited. That was a good thing. She could have waited and not actually had this conversation. Do you want me to read the whole thing? Should I like edit this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Should I edit this?
No, I mean, I'm giving you permission.
Okay, great. This is the email. My frustration comes with not keeping the focus on content positioned to go viral and sticking with themes decided on for this channel. It's actually a YouTube content shoot. The theme of my YouTube channel was supposed to be behind the scenes of building a business. I wanted to actually feel like the viewer is behind the scenes, hence what we are doing literally right now. Not only was the team late to the shoot, but the setup was like a studio. It was the opposite of behind the scenes, meaning I got there and there were like lights set up, and it felt like we were like, I was shooting some like educational content. And I'm like, wait a second, even if she didn't tell them that, those team members should know, hey, the purpose of the YouTube channel is behind the scenes, and they should be coming up with these great ideas. So I said, the topics need to be rethought, what can be recorded for behind the scenes, like how do we work this out? Because I have this idea, but I expect her and the team to say, this is how we can make your content behind the scenes, and this is the vantage point, and this is some other successful people who are doing this. There's other thing about being a female entrepreneur that I just was like not excited about.
She really wants to be a girl boss.
I do not want to be a girl boss. I do not want the angle of this content to be like leaders for women, like how to grow a business for women. We're just talking about how you grow a business. On the sloppy piece, oh yeah, did I call your stuff sloppy? Oh, you said it was sloppy. On the sloppy piece, my clarification is that it doesn't feel cohesive. Look at the ones that perform versus the one that don't. What are the differences? And then I picked out 2 different things that really felt inconsistent. Then this is, I think, where it got more clarified, which is when I said, I sent a separate email.
She waited 3 minutes.
I waited 3 minutes to send this next email because I was like, wait a second, I'm not done. Additionally, I expect that you and the team are YouTube natives. This platform needs to be studied and learned if we are going to grow. Who is actually paying attention to other accounts, learning what they're doing to grow, and making recommendations. The team needs to be transitioned from doers to professionals who own their craft. I recommend all of them reread the book Sell or Be Sold. It's a Grant Cardone book called Sell or Be Sold. It's freaking fantastic. Starting with you. Your lack of consistency is your kryptonite. What happened to daily reports? If I'm not writing you slip back into not sharing the data or being proactive. I need you to take your craft as seriously as I take mine. You have unending potential. This is where it like gets positive, right? I'm not just like harping on her in email, but the consistency and discipline of doing the things that you're going to say you do hold you back. I thought this was a really nice email.
How you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Carolina, did you cry?
It's fine.
But I'm actually good with it. Like, it doesn't bother me that she cried.
Oh, perfect.
It does. I think that that's a good thing. And somebody in the comments, you can say like, I'm a total bitch. I'm good with that because I believe that if she takes this to heart, she is going to advance to the next level so quickly. And if she doesn't take this to heart and it stops her, or she's emotional, or she resigns, or she's like, I can't believe Natalie sent that, then she's not the right person. And that's just the reality, because I want the person, like my intention here is, hey, I want you and the team to be so good, like to be the best, to be as good in your craft as I am in my craft. I take my craft very seriously. I take what I do very seriously. And I know what her goals are, I know what her aspirations are, and I know she can be just as good, if not better than me, in a shorter amount of time. But it's going to take me saying, you have to do these things, and this is what's holding you back. So we had this moment, and
to be fair, like 10 minutes after the email sent, we were texting and exchanging, so I just thought everything was normal, but yeah. And for anybody who works very closely with Natalie or with a boss, like if you're actually committed to your goals, your boss wouldn't pay attention to you if it wasn't for your potential. So that's just the biggest thing I could say. Like if you were to just ignore it, you could just replace me, and that's easier for you than taking the time to write it. So that's how I looked at it after 24 hours and a couple of tears, but it's all good.
The tears were not ideal. The tears were never my goal.
Natalie has also made me cry tears of joy multiple times, so
That's great.
it's true.
That's great. And that's not my goal. My goal is not to make her emotional in either direction. My goal is not to make that emotional. It's actually for me. It's for me to say, hey, if I was Carolina, what would I want? What would I wish somebody would have told me? And if I take that approach with the way that I communicate with my team members at every level, people talk about transparency. Like, I'm radically transparent. You know where you stand with me. And I know that she knows when we're good, we're good. She also knows if I have an issue, she's not worrying like late at night, oh, is Natalie frustrated with me or am I doing something wrong? She would know. Like, she knew that day I was frustrated. But that doesn't change how I feel about her. That doesn't change what I think of her. But I do have a commitment and responsibility because she told me what her goals are to actually help her get there. And if I don't say these things and I just take the easy way out, which is what so many business owners do, you have to stop doing this if you really want to scale a team and build a business. Because what most people do is they don't want to say those things. And they're like, oh, well, Carolina is already handling so much. She's already doing all of these great things, which she is. She's phenomenal at what she does. But if she doesn't address these things, she's going to stay phenomenal at doing the thing that she's doing when she's already told me, I don't want to be doing this. I want to be doing the next thing. okay, well, like game on, let's have you do this next thing. But if you're telling me you want that, you're not that yet. So what do you have to do in order to become that? And I'm gonna tell you those things. And I do believe that that's what actually creates respect in relationships. That's what creates transparency. That's what allows for actual communication. And you know, we had our moment and she gets to choose, hey, I'm either all in or I'm not. And I'm good with it either way. I hope she stays in. I want her to stay in because I believe in her. And nothing that I said from my standpoint was that offensive. And as I mentioned, I hold myself to that standard. It'd be one thing if I'm just like slacking off all the time and I don't take my work seriously and I'm just haphazard about everything, but I'm on my game. And so for you, if you're not on your game, if you're like, oh, I don't really take my business seriously, you have no ability to actually harp on your team members. They're not gonna take you seriously. But when you know, oh shit, like I'm on it, and then you allow other people to not be on it, you're invalidating that you're on it. And vice versa. If they're on it and you're not on it, then you're gonna get anxious and nervous that, hey, maybe they're thinking that they wanna go do something else because you're not pushing on them because you feel bad because you're actually not pushing on yourself. And that's the game of business. That's what makes it fun to actually grow and scale something. So this was a good behind the scenes. If you guys like this content, because I was gonna shoot a totally different video. Still probably gonna shoot that video. If you like this content, let us know in the comments. Like, tell us what you would like to see the behind the scenes of, how we could make more of this. You might come up with a more creative idea than we're able to come up with because we want to be able to give this sort of transparency, but it's like kind of awkward because she now is like on a YouTube channel with me and talking about her team who's now like recording this and editing it. Like, it's awkward, right? But if you love it, we will make more content, but you gotta let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
I think that was great.
I think so too.